Oh, it's been a while since I've been out here. Little update on where I'm at with Gangrene. So I don't think last time I made a video the engine and tranny weren't in. So the 440 is in place now. Transmission, converter, all that's hooked up. I got to put the drive shaft in and the shifter, but for the most part everything's in. It's on mounts, Borgeson boxes there. Some new goodies, fuel pump and distributor, intake gasket for when I get around to that, Ram Flex header gaskets. I ordered the CVF kit with the black pulleys, and so yesterday when I came out I put on the new pump and just painted that. I'll let that dry up and then I can start assembling the pulley and the brackets for the CVF kit. Header got wrapped, so header's on the passenger side there and that's wrapped. And what I'm working on today is the exhaust for the turbos. So that's my driver's side. It's a 3-inch V-band, but it's 2.5-inch pipe. And the reason is I already made an exhaust system for this car, naturally aspirated, that's 3-inch pipes, but I stayed 2.5 for the turbos. So I'm using that same V-band off of the header, so that as I switch engines in this project, I can either use my naturally aspirated exhaust system or I can use this turbo exhaust system. There's my mid-length header to a V-band, 180 mandrel bent, and you can see it'll clear the steering and stuff. A little flex joint I put in there. I flattened it out just a little bit right here so that I didn't get any rattling off of the K-member. And then I punch up through the valance there. That's going to go into my turbos. So let's back up and take a look. So there's my pipe. There's the oil pan, so it comes off at 180s around the steering linkage. Little flex joint so it doesn't crack, so the engine can move. Clears the cross member and goes up into my turbos. There's my turbos, both sides. You can see the way I'm going to start with the driver's side here. There's the turbo flange. Turbo's up there. Turbo flange comes through the plate, and then I mandrel bent 90 here. And I'll hook that piece up and I'll get started on this side. The hole in the plates for my turbo drain, that's where the drain is. The cartridge is directly above it. So that hole and that hole are going to go through these two notches you see here around the radiator. And I drilled and I tapped the block and I put that pipe with a couple of AN fittings, 10 AN fittings. I'll run 5/8 hose with 10 AN. So those will be my two turbo drains right back there below the fuel pump into the block, into the front of the pan there. So this is what I'm thinking for a wastegate placement. I'm going to set them inside the valance here on the front of the car. And what I'm working on now is this pipe, roughly. Kind of fish mouth this earlier, right? So that's gonna go right there in the bend of the pipe where I got good flow, and it's gonna come up here to my flange. So that'll bring my exhaust right up to the wastegate. I'm actually gonna clamp through the valance there, and then I'll 90 degree off the wastegate, and I'll just dump back out the pipe. And it's gonna come back out there. So my wastegates will sit inside the valance there. I'll end up doing the same one on this side. I'll come off it here, up into the valance, and I'll put my other wastegate up here. And that's the basic setup of where I'm at. How I run the exhaust. And really when you look at it from the front, I wouldn't consider that too low. When you look at where the oil pan sits and the tires and the control arms and everything, I don't think running that pipe there is going to be an issue. I don't think it's going to sit too low where it drags or catches on anything, because anything that low should hit the oil pan before it hits the pipe. So that's the setup. That's what I'm going for.